Okay, so I'm excited to chat today with Jamie from Lokai, a brand that blends purpose with product and has seen incredible growth through retention marketing. So Jamie, I wanted to explore a little bit what life was like before and what changed after working with us and how Lokai is connecting deeper with its community.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We're
Do you mind introducing yourself and just telling us a little bit about like Lokai and what makes the brand special?
sure. I'm Jamie. I'm the president of Lokai. Oversee the day-to-day of our brand across all of our different teams. Before Hayes, I would say, man, life was chaotic, not planned well. And Hayes, working with the entire Hayes team has been awesome. I mean, we've only worked with you guys, I think, for what, 9. Just feel like there's more structure to what we're doing. Our campaigns have more like meaning behind them. As you mentioned, Lokai is a purpose-driven brand. And I think we have so many amazing stories, so many products, but we really didn't have a great way of bringing that all together and communicating that to our customer. I feel like we would really rely on product launches and newness, and instead like forget about the whole meaning of why Lokai became a brand and why Steven Eisen, our founder, created this bracelet that has water from Mount Everest and mud from the Dead Sea. So I think, the biggest thing with working with the Hayes team has really been able to bring all that amazing storytelling and be able to share that in a more meaningful way to our customers and remind them, yeah, we have this awesome new bracelet this month, and maybe you're really into our NFL collection, but like, there's meaning behind this silicone bracelet besides just a silicone bracelet. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that's been a huge, huge improvement since working with Hayes.
I've seen some of those stories that you mentioned as well. Just casually browsing. My father has diabetes, so I was in a diabetes group on Facebook, and I saw someone was sharing a Lokai bracelet inside of that group, just randomly one day, which is really cool to see. And again, it was the language that people use is deeper than just like your surface level. Oh, I got a new bracelet, it looks shiny. It's way deeper than that. It's like they wear it, like you said, for purpose. And it's been really interesting to lean more into that and very fun for us to lean into that as well. I'm curious, we talked a little bit about before we started to work together, but just to be a bit more like specific, do you remember what did your retention email/SMS setup look like before working with Hayes?
So the setup was, we didn't have anyone that was truly focusing on our retention and email marketing and SMS. We were spending probably double than what we're spending now and seeing less of the engagement that we're seeing now. That I should have actually mentioned that, because I mean, most business owners would say obviously saving money is a huge win and seeing more coming from the money you are spending. So that was something the team was able to quickly come in and be able to identify and create the right segmentation, start doing testing. We just weren't doing any of that. We didn't have that dedicated resource that really knew where to even tap into with doing A/B testing, or how do we segment our email lists? How do we make them work better for us? How do we engage with the right audience? Before you guys, I think we were spending a lot of time emailing people that were just never even opening our emails, as opposed to, using the right tools to be able to either re-engage those with flows or just completely, stop paying for that, for those people that are just not even engaging with us to begin with.
Yeah, and you mentioned when you mentioned around like paying double and not getting what, like, again, when you mentioned not having people engage as much as you wanted them to. I'm curious, like, was there a moment that made you think like we really need to fix this, that we really need to do something?
Yeah, I think last year we spent, and obviously like I'll throw out random numbers, say like we spent probably almost triple, I think, in January than what we spent probably. I mean, we're in one of our busiest months right now.
Yeah.
And I think we looked at how much revenue was coming from email and SMS and then what we were spending, and it was really not good. And we kind of had a moment of like, this isn't working for us. At this point, we should just stop sending emails because we're losing money at this point. So I think those were kind of some of the moments last year before working with Hayes where we knew we had great information and great offerings, but we just weren't seeing any return on that investment.
Yeah, no, we have access to that spreadsheet, which has definitely been like top of mind, showing like how much you're spending on email versus how much you're making. And yeah, it was around like, I mean, the Klaviyo bill itself came to around like 20 to 30%, I think, of that,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is just generally like when I saw that with Ruben, we were like, no, this needs to change. Like this isn't right. If anything, it should be Klaviyo. I love Klaviyo. I think they're amazing, but they've got better at this actually over the last few months with their new updates. But it was something that they weren't really even doing themselves. Like they weren't reaching out to say, hey, by the way, you could do something here with your Klaviyo bill, I guess, because you're paying them.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we work with them, and then they've also helped us out. Definitely, Klaviyo support is they're there. They are support. They do support you, but you kind of have to like know your way around and navigate their support system.
Yeah, and that's what we were lacking. We had, we're a small company and we wear a lot of hats, like a lot of smaller and startup companies out there. And so, deciding what kind of money you want to spend on internal talent is really hard. And we were just at a place where we just didn't have the money to spend on someone directly overseeing email, and we were suffering because of it. So we kind of had to step back and figure out, okay, where do we need to invest to be able to see this brand grow? And we needed someone, like you're saying, someone that could navigate these things, someone that knew how to work with Klaviyo, someone that knew other different platforms and brands or companies, I should say, out there that we could also partner with to even enhance our email and SMS retention plan even further. And that's why obviously working with Hayes was a no-brainer. And some of the other clients that you guys had kind of walked us through, they saw the success we were kind of, really interested in.
And it's actually I think it's specifically important as well. Like you said, you're wearing many hats, and I wouldn't say Lokai is a small brand, but out of these like mission-driven brands, it's definitely like, I mean, it's rapidly growing now as well. And like the thing is, with these challenges that you mentioned, do you know how these challenges would affect the ability to connect with your customers and actually kind of stint that impact and stop you from growing with that impact?
I would say, I really think that we lost kind of going back to like telling our brand story. We kind of lost that as Lokai. When Lokai came to be almost 12, 13 years ago, they kind of went on this like crazy trajectory. And then any brand are kind of having that resurgence of like, we have that incredible brand recognition. People know us, but they might have shopped with us 10 years ago. So it's trying to figure out how to re-engage those audiences that maybe forgot about us for, the last 5 years, and using kind of email and retention marketing to tap back into them, with different, whether you're an NFL fan now, or like you said, having someone that directly is impacted by one of our charity bracelets, and figuring out ways to kind of like I said, re-engage the audience that maybe hasn't been with us. But having that brand recognition is so key, but it's like, how do you use that to your benefit? And I think that's something that yourself and Ruben have done such a great job to kind of like reignite that fire, knowing that the brand name is still, out there. It's just, how do we get those people back and remembering who we are?
Yeah, you were actually just talking about this before I started recording, about like some brands, how things can just scale very quickly. Sometimes in our control, but sometimes actually out of our control, depending on, especially with brands and products. From an agency side, we can scale a lot slower and control that scaling. Whereas like if your product suddenly gets, goes viral, or suddenly someone's like latches onto it and then a group of people latch onto it, like this is what happened with Lokai, like you mentioned at the beginning. And a lot of this actually happens to a lot of brands, and they don't survive it. They go like this and then they crash just as quickly as they came down. It's almost like the higher you go up, the quicker you go up, the quicker you fall. And I'm interested, like, I believe that retention, email, SMS has a big role in making sure that customers come back. And I'm glad to hear that it's, Hayes has been helping with that. I mean, more specifically around partnering with Hayes. So I imagine, Jamie, as a brand owner, you get so many cold emails every day from people saying, hey, I can do your email ads marketing. Hey, I can do this, I can do that. I'm curious, when you first partnered with Hayes, what what made you decide to bring Hayes Media into the picture?
Yeah. We do work with a lot of different agencies, and we have worked with agencies in the past. And I think the first thing that differentiated Hayes from like any other agency or people really that I've worked with is just and I don't even know how to like articulate the feeling that I got when speaking with Jordan and yourself and some of the other members of the Hayes team, just kind of that like truly felt like an extension of our team as opposed to just like somebody that you talk to through Zoom and like maybe will answer your email in 24 to 48 hours. I mean, the Hayes team, like I think I talk to them like 1,000 times a day. There's no moments where they're like, sorry, we can't help you right now. Like they're always going above and beyond to make sure that if there's something urgent or the communication is just impeccable. And that's something that working with a team that's already so small, relying so heavily on our partners, communication is just incredible. And you can tell that, that our brand and the projects we're working on aren't like number 10th on their list, like no matter who we're working with on your side. I mean, it's truly like I never have to wait around like for an answer. Everyone's just so eager to help me and collaborate. I think that's the other thing, really, like having that collaboration and not just waiting on me to give direction or answers, but truly being a part of that process, which is so helpful for me because we hired you guys because you're really good at your jobs. I'm not an expert in email and SMS or paid ads or whatever we use with Hayes. That's why I hired you guys and you guys to teach me and collaborate with me to make our brand the best it can be.
Yeah, if it feels like that from our side, when I was speaking to Oscar from Remy, he actually said the same exact thing as what you just said. Like, it feels like we're part of your brand, where we're part of your team. We like what we like to say is we treat your business as our own. I think that's super important because your whole mindset and your daily actions change if you own something completely. It also feels nicer to really own something because then when you guys win, we feel like we win, vice versa. So
yep, 100%. And then you feel like, and I can imagine I don't want to speak for you guys, but how fun that you can work with a few brands and like almost feel like you're a part of like some really like not just one company, but a couple companies where you get to have your hands in the success and not just like give deliverables, but truly be a part of it. Like, and that's how we work with the entire Hayes team. It's not just here, do this, give me that. It's like, hey, like, what do you think about this? Like, what would make this better? We would love your thoughts. I want your opinion. Like like I said, you guys are the experts. And I mean, already I think the first 6 months we started working with Hayes, the amount of success we saw. And I think that's a true testament to just how you guys work with your brands.
Oh, thank you. No, very kind words. Kind of to flip the switch a little bit, were there any concerns that you had about working with an outside partner?
Sure. I mean, anyone's concerned because they're not like on your payroll where they have to like answer you, as quick as possible. As a smaller team, we do rely on, we work with outside people, even from like our finance and accounting. And it is scary because, those people have other clients they're working with. And I think, like I mentioned earlier, you get a little nervous that you're just going to become a number, or like one week your contact is going to kind of like forget about you, or you're not going to like your to-do list is going to, go months without getting done, as opposed to maybe if someone was internal, like getting it done that week. So I think those were kind of like initial concerns that I had with partnering with outside agencies. And yeah, I feel like obviously with what I was saying before, that my concerns were quickly diminished, but I think going into it, those were definitely some of them.
No, and I think you kind of answered my next question as well around like what stood out about our approach versus what you maybe tried in-house with other agencies. I know you mentioned a lot of like other agencies, you can have the concern of feeling like a number. I hear that quite a lot. They just pass you to an account manager and then it's like, okay, there you go. Like you maybe feel during the sales process or the pitch process, you feel like, okay, it's all about us. And then as soon as they sign the agreement, it's like, okay, bye. And then they move on to the next one. I felt like that myself in some different processes. But yeah, would you say there's anything else that stood out with our approach versus maybe what you tried in other in-house or other agencies?
I think what you just said is something that I haven't touched on that I found really incredible during kind of that like sales process where we're meeting with, I think we met with Jordan, I think we met with yourself.
Yeah.
You meet with these people who sell you on the agency and you're like, wow, this is awesome. And then a lot of times you never see those people again. Whereas like the Hayes team was the complete opposite. I just had a call yesterday and Jordan was a part of it. And he will probably need to be a part of it, but he sat in on it because he cares and he wants to make sure this specific project that we were kicking off saw great success. We were all on the same page and that kind of where we were going made sense for everybody. And I don't see that a lot. I don't see the person who kind of sold you on working with their company in calls, in meetings, and yourself, Jordan, constantly do that to not only support us, but support your team.
Yeah.
And I think that's a true testament is you can tell you guys are making sure the people under you feel like really good about what they're doing without like overpowering them, but supporting them. And I think from like a leadership standpoint, that's amazing and something that I've taken even in my day-to-day of how I can make sure that I'm supporting the people that work under me as well.
Yeah, sometimes I question myself. I'm like, am I doing enough for my team? Am I doing enough for my team? So it's actually good to, all the time.
You
So
don't
it's
want to micromanage, but you want to feel supported. And I think, yeah, even like on our email calls, like, do you need to be on them all the time? Probably not. But like just having you there, like you're not overpowering anything Ruben's saying. If anything, you're giving thoughts or ideas if asked. Like, I just think that's so amazing to show your support. And I know it's for the client too, but I can imagine that Ruben also is like, it's nice to have someone else on my team on this call to like ping ideas off of or just feel like they, give a shit and want to be there. So I love that. I think it's awesome that you guys do that.
Yeah, and that's exactly the intention. It's to do that, is to support everyone involved and act as a bit of a soundboard as well. Because it actually it allows me to have more of an outside view of the situation where new ideas can actually form. Just for like afterwards, I have a catch up with Ruben. I say, hey, have you thought about this? And he's like, oh no, I didn't because I was in the middle of talking. So he can't. Yeah.
Well, and Ruben, and that's helpful to me too, because sometimes like Ruben and I are more in the day-to-day weeds.
Yeah.
And even myself being it helps me because sometimes I can't like, to your point, like sit back and look high level, and having you to be able to kind of help me do that is so helpful because I'm only one person in our company overseeing a lot of different moving parts. So having that leadership support from the outside that's huge.
Awesome. Thank you, Jamie. This is amazing. I have one last question for you, just to kind of sum up the meeting. So I've asked this to everybody. The question is, if you had to sum up the Hayes Media partnership in one sentence, what would you say?
Oh my gosh. In one sentence. Okay. The Hayes team is incredible. The Hayes team, I would say the Hayes team is not only collaborative, but supportive and caring in the overall growth of Lokai. I know that's kind of boring, but it really is how I feel.
No. It's beautiful. That's really good. Really, thank you, Jamie, for sharing your thoughts. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this. And really, what I believe is what Lokai's story proves is that when you invest in retention, you're not just driving sales, you're building and focusing on that community and impact at scale. So it's been a pleasure to talk to you. I'm sure the viewers will get a lot of value from this. We're going into Q4 now, so I'm excited for the next few months as well, and just to keep growing.
Same. I can't thank you guys enough.
Thank you, Jamie.